Marco Rubio went after the ICC, which is the International Criminal Court. And if you don't know anything about the ICC is the International Criminal Court. It's a permanent international tribunal based in Netherlands. And it was established by the 1998 Rome Statute, and it was obviously established fully in 2002. And it prosecutes individuals for the most serious crimes of international concern. So genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, crimes of aggression. And essentially what you have to understand about the ICC is just it's an unelected body. It's a body of unelected globalist bureaucrats who try to give credence to smaller countries who have no power and dominance on the world stage. So you think about all the countries who are parts of the ICC. United States isn't a part of it. China's not a part of it. Russia's not a part of it. Even heck, India's not even a part of it. Because it's a body of unelected globalist bureaucrats that essentially enforce liberalism and gay race communism on the world stage. And then they appeal to very vague terminology like, crimes of aggression, crimes against humanity. And all it serves to do is to curb American sovereignty and American interests. So Marco Rubio released this video yesterday, and I think he's 100% correct. So let's watch this video. He is 100% correct in his assessment right here.
For 250 years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders, we determine our own laws, and when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers. This is the essential and indispensable feature of our form of government. It is the foundation of our shared way of life. But today, powerful people in faraway places want to take that away from us. They believe that they should be in charge of your laws, of your country, your life, and they don't care whether or not you agree. Halfway across the world, there's an institution that calls itself the International Criminal Court. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. But chances are you don't know the names of its judges, of its prosecutors, or its president. And you shouldn't have to. But as we speak, the ICC and its friends are waging a war against our country. Not with bullets or missiles, but with statutes, compacts, and the force of so-called international law. When the ICC was born 24 years ago, they told us that it was merely a narrow backstop, a global court that would step in to prosecute only the gravest offenses, things like genocide and war crimes, and only when a nation's courts were unable to prosecute them on their own. But the truth is, it was something far more radical and extreme. It was a global tribunal staffed by unelected globalist bureaucrats who claim their power is almost unlimited.
Yep.
The danger of this global court has only continued to grow. Today, it threatens every aspect of our political and legal system. Border Patrol agents removing violent criminals from our country. American Marines risking their lives to defend our homeland. Prosecutors working to dismantle terrorist plots to attack and kill Americans. If we stand idle, all of them would be at the mercy of foreign judges thousands of miles away, facing the constant risk of prosecution and even imprisonment for the so-called crime of defending their own country. The American people never agreed to any of this, and they never will. Read the words of our Declaration of Independence. We fought a revolution against a foreign power, transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Independence is our birthright. We will never let foreign bureaucrats take that away from us. This administration will not sit by as the ICC and its allies seek to threaten our people. If they believe they can deprive us of our sovereignty, we will teach them the full meaning of American resolve.
Let's go. I mean, that was awesome. Marco Rubio, he's been such like a milquetoast neocon, but he's kind of developed a little more into a very strong America First patriot, where we still disagree with a lot of his little more neocon warmongering tendencies. But for him to stand as a Secretary of State and say, okay, no, we're not going to tolerate this anymore. We're not going to be accountable to unelected globalist bureaucrats who have no jurisdiction in our country. We actually want to put America first and the interests of the American people first. Yeah, that's based. And so he had an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal as well. And this is the end of his op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. And it is actually really well written. Like, it's really, really good. So this is what he says in the Wall Street Journal. It is only a matter of time before the ICC begins making good on these threats. Border Patrol agents working to remove violent criminals from our country, U.S. Marines risking their lives to restore order in the Western Hemisphere, federal prosecutors working to dismantle terror networks plotting attacks on the American homeland, all will face the constant risk of persecution for the crime of defending our country. The ICC's interfering with American military and law enforcement operations isn't just only a grave overreach of its purported authorities, it would mean the death of the United States as a sovereign and independent nation. Our decision and our people would be at the mercy of the ICC and its collaborators in the international community, quote unquote. To accept the ICC is to surrender control of our national destiny. Perhaps more polite and compliant nations can make their peace with that arrangement. But this is America. Our forefathers fought a revolution against a foreign power, transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Independence is our birthright. We don't intend to trade it for rule by a self-appointed priesthood of quote-unquote international law. The Trump administration will always protect American service members from this threat. The U.S. is launching a diplomatic campaign with a simple message: sovereign states over globalism. Those who benefit from American security must not stand idly by while those who provide that security are targeted. This is only the beginning, using all the tools at our government's disposal, working beside every ally with whom we can make common cause. We will dismantle the ICC brick by brick if necessary. So based. We do not intend to trade it for a rule by a self-appointed priesthood of international law. And the U.S. is launching a diplomatic campaign with a simple message: sovereign states over globalism. Without Trump, this would not be possible. Marco Rubio was on a trajectory to be like the 2016 version of Mitt Romney. But because of Trump realigned politics. He completely shifted political discourse, where the default for the neocon and the neolib was free trade, globalism, globalization. We are all members of one people, one human race. So therefore, we must be accountable to these unelected globalist bureaucrats and these despots. No, American sovereignty, nationalism. Nationalism is actually the best way, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. Nationalism is the best way that countries can orient themselves and organize themselves. Why? Because nationalism is about putting your nation first. And what is a nation? Nation is an extended family. It is a home for a people of a shared culture and shared ancestry. When you put that together and allow them to do what's best for their own people, and in so doing, do trade, create peace deals for whatever's best in the best interest of their own people. That's actually the best way to organize the world. Why? Because every single people group is different. Every single person is different for sure, but we have national identities and we have ethnicities. We have distinctions for a reason. Korean culture is not the same as American culture. French culture is not the same as Nigerian culture. Russian culture is not the same as Japanese culture. So to preserve that, you have to have nationalism. To preserve national identities, you need nationalism. And what is needed for the Korean Peninsula is very different than what's needed for America in the Western Hemisphere. What's needed for the UK is very different than what's needed for, let's say, Singapore. And that's why nationalism works, and that's why nationalism is the best, because you put the interests of your own people first, and it's rightly ordered because nations, again, are a home for a people of shared ancestry and shared culture. So yes, nationalism over globalism, sovereignty and a sovereign state over globalism, because we're different, and that's okay. But you can't apply the same rules and standards for every single aspect of social life and political life for 8+ billion people. That doesn't work. That doesn't scale. We're different. And that's okay. That's a good thing. But this is good. This is objectively a good thing. Props to Marco Rubio. People say, oh, but he's violating international law. Who cares? Like, international law and these unelected international governing bodies, it's all fake anyways. If you can't enforce it and you don't have the strength to enforce your law, then who cares? Like, what are you going to do? And that's how politics works. Politics essentially is whoever can enforce by whatever force mechanism you have, enforce what you want. That's just how politics works. So what, all these, the ICC, what's the ICC going to do if America decides to make a move on the world stage? No, you can't do that. You violate this niche international law that we created. Okay, who cares? There are terrorists trying to kill Americans. There's a foreign invasion happening on our own soil. Who cares? What are you going to do? They can't do anything because America has the strongest military in the world. And we're the richest country in the world. So what are they going to do? They literally have no resources. They don't have the military might. They don't have the force they don't have the mechanism of force to enforce their international law. So it's like liberalism at its peak, where I told you to do something, so you have to do it, or else it's mean. That is literally, that is the baseline foundation of the credibility of these international bodies, like the International Criminal Court. That's all it is. I said you can't do that, so therefore you must not be able to do that. And if you violate that, you're mean, and you must be held accountable, but they don't have any means of holding them accountable. That's why China, Russia, America, they're not part of the ICC, because they don't need to be part of the ICC, because the ICC is just a body of weaker countries trying to enforce what they want on the world stage, but they can't, so then they appeal to these broad, ethereal, like not really tangible ideas of international law. And it's all really just globalist, gay race, communist nonsense at the end of the day. But people have been saying that the reason why Marco Rubio and the Trump administration is going after the ICC is because the ICC right now is prosecuting and charging Benjamin Netanyahu with war crimes and genocide in Gaza. And I'm like, dude, like, what will it take for you to understand that the Trump administration is not like bending over backwards and doing the bidding of Benjamin Netanyahu? Like, how many times over the course of this Iran war the past year has Trump enraged Bibi Netanyahu because he's been trying to approach a peace deal? Now, I know it's very messy. They literally bombed an island in Iran the past week. So I know things are messy and peace is not really getting there. But how many times did Trump like curse at Benjamin Netanyahu? Like, Trump does not like this guy because Bibi Netanyahu gets in the way of Trump being the peacemaker in the Middle East. Because Bibi Netanyahu, yes, is a warmonger. So the Trump administration, like the people are so unserious, especially those who blame everything on Israel. And I'm not saying you can't criticize Israel. Yes, you can criticize Israel. You can criticize the excesses of Jewish influence in America. I do it all the time. But the Trump administration is not, and the Trump cabinet is not coming together in the meetings, putting their hands together. Ooh, like, how can we do the bidding of Benjamin Netanyahu today? Like, that's just such a deeply unserious way of thinking about politics. That's not how it works. That's not the conversations that they have. Clearly, like Marco Rubio said, and it is very true, independence is the birthright of America. And we will not give it up to this self-appointed, quote-unquote, priesthood of international law. Because American sovereignty comes first. That's the reason, and that's an objectively good reason. And honestly, if you want to think about why, at the timing right now, are they going after the ICC and creating or trying to create a diplomatic solution so that America will not be beholden to this, quote-unquote, international body, it's because, right, the ICC, they hate Trump's crackdown on immigration and drug trafficking. Think about it. Most Latin American countries are ICC members. Coincidence? I think not. And so the ICC is outraged at Border Patrol agents, ICE agents, military personnel going into foreign countries and dismantling terrorist networks that are anti-American. They hate that. So why should America be accountable to a left-wing globalist institution that doesn't serve America's interests, but actually works actively against America's interests? Oh, but they're going after Israel. Okay, I don't care. Like, we can't always think about Israel first. So we have to think about America first if you're an American patriot. So it's not about Israel. It's not about Iran. It's not even about the Middle East. It's about Latin America. It's about the Western Hemisphere, namely Cuba. The ICC didn't like what Trump did in Venezuela. And there are talks right now of Trump doing a very similar thing in Cuba because they're our next door neighbor. It is a few miles away from the coast of Florida. Dismantling communist networks and terrorist networks that threaten the sovereignty of the American people is an objectively good thing. And the ICC wants to dismantle it. The ICC doesn't want that to happen because, oh, crimes against humanity, war crimes. And so, yes, like, I do think that the Trump administration is actually taking action against the ICC because they are outraged about what the Trump administration is doing to uphold and restore American sovereignty, namely mass deportations and cracking down on foreign terrorist networks. That's an objectively good thing. So it's not about Israel. It's not about, oh, we gotta just be nice, bro. Like, that's not how the world works. Restoring American sovereignty is key. And the number one thing that the Trump administration has to do, I always say this, is twofold. Crack down on leftist terrorist networks and mass deportations. That's all you have to do. That's literally all you have to do to restore American sovereignty.